Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's get rad and talk horror.
So we are participating in the Rad 9 Challenge, the 9 movies that have scared us.
If you're not already subscribed to the Rad Pack, we cannot recommend it enough. They do these amazing community challenges, and we're so honored to be a part of this. Their YouTube link is down in the description, so make sure you're subscribing to them now.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about some movies that scared us from the past and some that scare us now.
And we broke this up because it is the 9 movies that scared us. I did 5, she did 4, just so we could have an even amount of movies. That way we're not here for 18 movies. So we talked about some from when we were young and some from when we were older. This is the newest one on the list, and for me, it's The Dark and the Wicked. This is a movie that is full of anxiety the whole way through, and the main scene that really gets me is when Michael's at the kitchen doing the dishes, and you see his mom outside the window floating, and then you hear her singing behind him after she's already died. That's a scene that really, really got me from that film.
Yeah, so we need to talk about something that where it started for me, Pet Sematary, and Pet Sematary is terrifying enough, but let's add Zelda into the mix. The sister, she is what nightmares are made of.
Right.
Scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. You know, she's all crunched over. You'll never get out of bed again.
Yeah.
Freaked me out. Scared me. Still to this day, it creeps me out.
Right. Another newer one for me, and I included this for one scene in particular, and that is Sinister. The whole movie gives you a creepy vibe, and a lot of the Super 8 shots are really well done. I love the old school home movies. One of them in particular, Lawn Mowing Time, that one really got me. Yard Work, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
But the lawnmower jump scare to me is by far, hands down, bar none, the best jump scare of all time. So I had to include this one because I'm not a huge fan of jump scares, but if you have a jump scare that affects me this much, I have to put it on any scared me list. So I'm going to go with Sinister, and the main one that got me was the lawnmower scene.
All right, so if you know me, I have to add Halloween. Halloween 78 terrified me as a kid. It's something that I've watched every year since, and the thing that got my anxiety going so bad is when Laurie's in the closet and Michael's trying to get in, and you know, she's freaking out and she grabs that hanger. Oh, the anxiety the entire time, just it got me.
Now, I am going to travel back in time a little bit here now. One that really scared me as a kid, and I think it scared a lot of people growing up, is Candyman. This is another movie that really, really got under my skin. It really, really bothered me. And watching this as a very young boy for the first time, where we get the scene of the little boy that got his penis cut off in the bathroom, and they do that pan shot, and you see it, and that's just a scene that really, really scared me as a kid. Obviously, being a young boy, it was one that really, really affected me, still discovering myself. I watched this at a very, very, very young age, and that scene really, I mean, you could talk about the bees, you could talk about Tony Todd's voice, but the scene that really got me as a young boy especially was that bathroom scene.
You can't cut off my buddy.
Yeah, leave my buddy alone.
So this is probably the newest one that I'm going to talk about, and I think we watched this still, I was like a teenager, and that is Dead Silence, and I feel like this movie is super underrated.
Very.
But one of the scenes that got me is when the old man is crawling in the crawl space, and then you see that Mary Shaw is in there and her face. About poop my pants. I didn't even pee. I went right to poop in my pants.
And it's an amazing scene because this is the first time we actually see Mary Shaw take somebody's tongue.
Yes.
And as we talked about it, this is a very underrated movie. It got swept under the rug because it was right during the Saw, when the Saw craze was huge. So people went into this looking for Saw. And a lot of people that didn't know about it, they look at the marketing and they see a ventriloquist dummy. Yeah. And they think that's what it is. And
it's
that
all
has
about
so
dolls,
little...
and nobody wanted that at that time. But it's so underrated, and I love that movie.
One of my all-time favorite twists, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now, we're going to keep going back in time here a little bit because this is one of the first horror movies I ever watched. And I think it's the very first one I ever watched on TV with my mom. And that is Stephen King's made-for-TV film, Sometimes They Come Back. And something that's always scared me is realistic stuff. When I see something that's on the TV and it changes, or I see a picture and the picture, winks at you, like, Pennywise, It, and Bill and Georgie, that little picture wink. But the one for me, and Sometimes They Come Back, is when Jimmy is older and he's watching TV and he's watching a Godzilla movie, and the TV morphs into an old home video of him and his brother Wayne, who had already passed away, and they're playing baseball and they're running and having fun, and then all of a sudden Wayne looks at the TV, like right directly into the camera, and he just goes, run, Jimmy, run. And it's just like a creepy, terrifying scene to me. It's one that really, really stuck with me. It's probably the most memorable scare I had from being a young boy, on top of everything else, you know, with House and Candyman, and another movie we're going to talk about here in a second. But this one I think is one that really stuck with me the most, because I watched a lot of TV growing up, and to see the TV switch like that, a character on TV look at you and start talking directly at you, terrified me. So I'm gonna go with Sometimes They Come Back,
which is another very underrated movie. I was so happy when you introduced me to that movie. I loved it.
That's a movie we need a real remake for now.
Yeah,
give me a theatrical release of a new Sometimes They Come Back.
So I can't do this list without adding The People Under the Stairs. It's my favorite horror movie. It terrified me as a kid. I love that movie. I love a movie with a good outcome. You know, sometimes we don't always get the best outcomes. And it has a message behind it. But the thing that scared me most was Daddy. He is terrifying. And when he has that bondage suit on and he's got his gun and he's trying to get the boy in the wall, like, it freaked me out. Like, he's just a scary guy, and it terrified me.
He's a scary guy without the bondage.
Yeah, he looks like he's so evil, and he's probably like the nicest guy in the entire world, but like his look, he just looks like he could fuck you up.
Yeah. So the last one I'm going to talk about, and I don't think it's any secret, I've talked about this many times, the horror movie scene that absolutely scared me the most, and still to this day it rings true. It is from Tales from the Hood. I'm not going to go too deep into what's happening in the scene, but the reveal at the end. If you haven't seen this movie, please pause this, go watch the movie, and then come back, because I'm about to spoil it really big. So you've had your time. I'm going to spoil it now. You find out that Mr. Sims, who's been leading him through the funeral home the whole time, is actually Satan. He's the devil, and they're all in hell. And just that moment when he gives the reveal, welcome to hell. Like, that whole scene, like, as a kid, I couldn't sleep. I believe this is the only movie that scared me so much I cried as a kid. The thought of heaven and hell, death, has always been very scary to me. Raised in the home that I was raised in with very, very Christian values. The thought of Satan and the devil and all that really, really scared me. So to see this guy we've been following throughout the whole movie, turns out that he is Satan, he is the devil, and he shows these guys their own dead bodies, and welcome to hell, and then the funeral home melts into hell. Absolutely terrified me as a kid. To this day, my absolute favorite anthology film. So we want to thank you guys for coming along for the ride on the 9 films that scared us. I can't wait for the next Rad 9 challenge, and I know we already said it, but make sure you're subscribing to them by clicking the link in the description. There's a lot of other Rad 9 videos out there that are so amazing, so make sure you're showing them love, and let us know in the comments, what are some of the movies that scared you, either now or as a child, and what are the scenes from it that really, really stuck with you the most? So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. All our links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.